Hello, good day, viewers and listeners. You're welcome to another edition of the Call It As You See It podcast. Today, we'll be reviewing the Champions League fixtures that happened yesterday night between Real Madrid and Arsenal Football Club and Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan. It came as I should not say it came as a surprise because anything happens in football. Impossible is nothing, nothing is impossible when it comes to a football match. We've seen results happen in our years of viewing football. But let us quickly analyze what happened in the two games that happened yesterday night. And we will first of all take a look at the fixtures that happened in the Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal pummeled Real Madrid by three unreplied goals. No one saw that coming. All the bookmakers and punters didn't see that coming. So let us first of all look at the starting line of both sides. It was expected for Arteta to roll out the starting lineup he rolled out yesterday, but what was surprising from the Real Madrid side was having a David Alaba play as a left back yesterday. This is owing to the fact that he was coming from an injury layoff of an anterior cruciate ligament where he spent 13 months out. And having him play at left back came as a surprise for many viewers because there was a left back for Real Madrid who could have played or who could have been gambled upon in the name of Fran Garcia, but instead Alaba was chosen ahead of him, and Saka, a less than fully fit Saka, gave him a running of his life, even if albeit that Saka wasn't fully fit or he wasn't even running on all cylinders. Now looking at the setup, Madrid came to play in a 4-4-2, in a flat 4-4-2 with Vinicius and Kylian Mbappe up front, and in the midfield, central midfield, they had Eduardo Camavinga and Luka Modric playing in the middle of the park, and I had Rodrigo on the right side of midfield and Bellingham coming from the left. And Arsenal came in with a normal 4-3-3 setup with Declan Rice, Partey and Martin Odegaard holding forth in the midfield. In attack, it was a normal suspect: Saka, Mikel Merino and Gabriel Martinelli playing up front. So looking at that game, the first half was evenly poised. It was finely poised, balanced, 0-0. But I would say Madrid had the clearer chances in the first half, even though Saka had some runs he made to the byline line. But because Arsenal do not have a traditional number 9, there was nobody to finish up those chances. I could see there was a particular time Saka made 2 runs to the bylines and he crossed the ball, and the ball just went across Real Madrid's Real Madrid's goal line, and with nobody to finish it off. But when I look at the first half as a whole, holistically, the clearer chances, I believe, fell to Real Madrid. I could say Madrid could possibly have gone into the break leading 1-0. Now we got the shock of our lives when they came into the second half. And Arsenal all of a sudden revved it up the ante, revved it up a notch, took the level of the game or the pace of the game, took it up a notch. And what happened is that Saka was fouled by Camavinga for the first goal and stepped up Declan Rice. And my criticism of that free kick, this is not to take anything away from Declan Rice, my criticism of that free kick was that we had in Madrid form a 4-man wall. And in that four-man wall, I believe there should have been an extra man there to make it a 5-man wall. And what happened? Declan Rice, who has not in his 338 appearances in club and international football caps, scored a free kick, scored a fantastic free kick from that piece of action. In fact, if we go back to look at the records, Arsenal has not scored from a direct free kick since September of 2021, sorry, I beg your pardon. Since September of 2021, where Martin Odegaard scored against Burnley. That was the last time Arsenal scored a free kick from a direct free kick. And a few minutes later, only to have Declan Rice. For me, I felt the first free kick from Declan Rice was an easy free kick. Anybody could have done that. It was easy because I felt defense should have had more men lined up to give Real Madrid a chance or not make it easy for Declan Rice to score in the first free kick. What happened in the second free kick? It was an absolute belter. It was a cracking goal. A goal that Juninho Pernambucano, who to me is the GOAT when it comes to free kick taking. I didn't see Zico play in my lifetime. I wasn't born when Zico was still playing. I heard Zico was a fantastic free kick taker, and I've watched documentaries and heard Juninho Pernambucano acknowledge the Juninho Penabokana I'm talking about is the Juninho who captained the Olympic Lyon side of the year 2000s, where they used to win 6 League 1 titles on a bounce. He was a fantastic free kick taker. That goal that Declan Rice scored, the second free kick goal that Declan Rice scored, is a free kick that Juninho would have been very proud about. The first goal, David Beckham in his prime would score that goal with the number of people in that fence. He would score a 10 out of 10. I felt it was too easy with the way the fence was set up. Now for the second goal, it was a cracking goal. Even if you put 10 goalkeepers in the post, Declan Rice was always going to score from that shot. That is it's the first time he's scoring from free kick situations, and he scored 2 from 2 attempts in his 339 games he's played for club and country. Kudos to him. I think he did a fantastic job scoring those belters. Now going on to analyze the game, I felt from the Real Madrid side, I think Vinicius had a very poor game. He didn't come to the party at all. There was no end product. He was just running into blind alleys. It was not as if Duran Timber marked him out, but he just could not do anything to affect the game positively. Kylian Mbappe was starved of service. I saw Rodrigo, and he barely did nothing. But for me, the man of the match for me was Lewis Kelly. At 18, thereabouts, the way he came out of possession from his back line to form extra bodies in Arsenal midfield, and to become an inverted playmaker or an inverted winger and coming to the midfield to give us extra bodies to be able to have possession of the ball was very admirable for an 18-year-old. I did not see that coming from anywhere. It was a performance for the ages. I know people would clamor and say Declan Rice was the man of the match. But for me, I think Skelly did fantastically well. And even in my preview, I was saying Mikel Merino was not going to get a shot on goal against the Real Madrid backline, but he scored a beautiful striker's goal. And even there was this time in the match where he had few chances, about 2 chances, a shot and a rebound to score Real Madrid, only for Thibaut Courtois to block all those chances or to save all those shots. So for me overall, I think it was a fantastic win. It was a fantastic win by Arsenal. It is one I think should help them build their confidence going into the second leg. We know 90 minutes in the Santiago Bernabeu is a very long time. Most teams go there and they cave into pressure. But nonetheless, I think 3 goals is a formidable lead. And in the Real Madrid history, they have never had to come back from 3 unreplied goals. I'm not saying it is impossible. I've seen miracles in football. Whether I want to talk about Atlanta 96, the Nigeria versus Brazil match, or the miracle of Istanbul, that is Liverpool versus AC Milan. There are many comebacks I've seen in my lifetime, or seen documentaries about in my lifetime. But with the form that Real Madrid is in, I do not see if they would have enough in their offense to overcome this tie, unless if Arsenal goes in and cave into pressure. Maybe they go there and in the first half, Madrid is going to and is able to get 2 quick goals, but I do not see that coming. So that being said, I do not want to waste so much time talking about Real Madrid because Arsenal actually had the better of them and deserved to win on the night. So back to the Bayern and Inter game. Like I said, I knew Inter was going to win, and if you listen to my preview, I was talking about how Simone Inzaghi is a better tactician than Vincent Kompany. So I was not expecting Rafa Guerrero, who is a traditional left back, to play as a 10 or to play in the hole in the place of an injured Musiala, because I was thinking that Thomas Muller was going to be an obvious choice. The same Thomas Muller who came in over the weekend when they defeated Augsburg, and he scored in that game. And also he came in when Lautaro Martinez, that is Inter Milan's captain, had given Inter Milan the lead yesterday. He came in and he scored the equalizer, and it was 1-1, only for Inter Milan to peg them back and get the advantage of a 2-1 lead at the Allianz Arena. So like I was saying, Simone Inzaghi is a fantastic tactician, and Inter Milan is a well-drilled side. Like I was telling you in my preview the last time, they were in the Champions League final 2 years ago, where they lost narrowly to the Man City side. And if you remember, in that campaign, Man City played every other team off the park in that season. But when they came against an Inter Milan side, it was a different ball game. Inter Milan actually dominated them in some aspect of the game and had a clear of chances, which Lukaku lost. So Inter Milan is they're a very well coached side, and tactically their coach is a very sound coach. He plays in a 3-5-2. Very robust, very robust midfield. Their backline, their back three of Francisco Acerbi is he's deep into his 30s. There's Bastoni, and they play Pavard, sometimes the French Pavard. And if you look at their five in the midfield, it's the central midfield, the three in the middle of the park. They're a very solid core. You might want to look down at Henrik Mkhitaryan, that is deep in his 30s. He's over 37 years there about. So beside him, you have the Turkish maestro Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who is a fine playmaker and a fine striker of the ball. You have Nicolo Barella, and on their wing backs, you sometimes have DiMarco playing from the left wing back. But yesterday it was Augusto who played as a left wing back, and you have the Damian who played at the right wing back, and the forward two of Thuram and Martinez are very, very effective going forward. So with a 2-1 advantage, I see them going through in the next leg. So now I want to quickly move on to the preview of today's games, and it's between FC Barcelona versus Borussia Dortmund, and it's between and the second fixture is between PSG and Aston Villa. So talking about the Catalan Giants, that is FC Barcelona, they are in a 22 games unbeaten run since December. The last game they lost was to Atletico Madrid in the league, where they lost 2-1 in the month of December. Ever since then, they've won almost every game. They are on the 22 games unbeaten run and topping the La Liga table with 4 points with about 7 games to go. So ordinarily, they do not have any injury concerns going into this one, and I think they should just do more than enough to be able to beat a Borussia Dortmund side who has not been great in the Bundesliga this season. They are actually 8 on the table, and I don't see them with about 7 games to go. Also, I don't see them even qualifying into the Champions League places. So it's a win or bust. It's either they win the Champions League or we do not get to see them in the Champions League next. And let's not forget, Borussia Dortmund were in the finals of the Champions League last year, where they were defeated by Real Madrid side by 2-0. So it's not as if they have just come out of the blue. They are a traditional side. They won the Champions League title in 1997, although they have had to change coaches this season, where Nuri Sahin, an ex-player in the Klopp era of Dortmund, when Jurgen Klopp was the coach of Borussia Dortmund, Nuri Sahin was actually the captain of Borussia Dortmund. He was one of the captains of Borussia Dortmund side then. So, and he coached them this season. Unfortunately, he could not see off the season as he was sacked not so long ago and replaced by ex-Bayern Munich player and Croatia player Niko Kovac. So they are 8 on the table, and their form doesn't suggest in any way that they are going to be able to beat this Barcelona side. So I see Barcelona getting the job done comfortably. I do not see any cause for alarm for Barcelona. I see them beating Borussia Dortmund very well in this game and going through to the semi-finals. And the second quarterfinals fixture of today is between PSG and Aston Villa. So PSG is coached by Luis Enrique. It's coached by Luis Enrique, so who was in PSG bench last year, and this year they have been in Paris from after selling Mbappe, not selling Mbappe or letting Mbappe go on a free to Real Madrid football club. And this season, their star man has been Ousmane Dembele. He's had around 26 goal involvement. That's 21 goals and 5 assists this season. He has really come into his own. If you look at what PSG has done this season in the league, they won the league last weekend with 7 games to spare. So it shows you how dominant they have been in the French Ligue 1. But going into the Champions League, one game stands out for me: the game they played against Liverpool, where they actually dominated Liverpool home and away. And in a long time, I've never seen anybody had to keep Mohamed Salah silent in a game, but their left back Nuno Mendes did that. And if you look at the PSG team, they're quite a rounded team. They're more of a balanced team now because nobody's a superstar. It was not like when Kylian Mbappe was there, or Lionel Messi, or Neymar. Now everybody plays for the whole team. Let's not forget they signed Kvicha Kvaratskhelia from Napoli in January, and he's a fantastic baller. He's a fantastic footballer. He's a Georgian international, and he has come into the party for PSG also, and also the likes of Bakola, Desiree Doe, they've also contributed their quota into making that team. And if you look at the midfield, if you look at the likes of Vitinha, if you look at likes of Vitinha, they are doing admirably well in the midfield of PSG, and their backline and goalkeeper Donnarumma. I would like to see how this game will pan out if it should go into penalties, because going to the Aston Villa side, Aston Villa is also on an 8-game unbeaten run. Also on an 8-game unbeaten run, and they are coached by a cup specialist called Unai Emery. Unai Emery has won 4 Europa League titles, 3 on the bounce with Sevilla in Spain, 2013, 14, and 15 season. They won 3 on the bounce, and he won one. He won one with Villarreal in the year of 2021, where they beat Manchester United in the final of the Europa League. So he's a cup specialist. He knows how to play this game. He might not be so great in league matches, but Aston Villa are not far away. When you look at the EPL table, they're just about 2 points away from 4th place, and they could well qualify into the Champions League. So if you look at the team, if you want to look for player, they might not be you might not be able to equate them with the PSG side, but they've been able to sign the likes of Marco Asensio, who is a 4-time Champions League winner with Real Madrid, and it's just been bought from PSG to Aston Villa, and he's really contributing his quota to this Aston Villa side. They've also bought the Man U reject in the name of Marcus Rashford, who has not done badly since he has come in. So the PSG side is, yes, they are not known to have any superstar, but they're also a well-dressed side, coached by a cup specialist called Unai Emery, and their ever controversial goalkeeper, Emi Martinez, who is the goalkeeper for the Argentine national side, is very controversial. We all know the antics he pulled at the Qatar World Cup, and ever since then he's been taunting the French fans or France international players. So he's going there with a lot of controversies, and even I was watching one of his clips where he landed in Paris and he was wearing a cap showing all the trophies that he's won in against France in Qatar. So I would like to see how this will pan out when the game goes to a penalty shootout, because Gigi Donnarumma is a penalty specialist, and also Emi Martinez is a penalty specialist. But hopefully we don't get to see the game go through to penalties, and hopefully we are in for a cracking game between both sides this night. I hope you've enjoyed my content for today. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.